I'm 70 years old. And I live in a minivan full time. This is my home. And I'm Minivan Lee. And I've been doing this for 7 years. But I am 70 years old now. Today, I want to talk about how old is too old for van life. Because a lot of seniors are being priced out of rents and mortgages in the United States, and from what I'm hearing, all around the world. Now, you might think, well, I'm not a senior. What do I care? Well, guess what? You might have a grandmother who's being priced out, or a grandfather, or your parents, or, a loved one, a friend, and they're considering this lifestyle. I'm going to talk about the criteria for van life, because van life isn't for everybody. And there are going to be people who are limited and might not be good for this. So I want to talk about this whole subject, okay, of van life. So stick with me. Watch it all the way to the end. And please subscribe. Yeah, look right down there. I think it's right down there. And let's go. Let's start talking about this. This is a good subject. Much needed. Much needed. So have you ever thought about what you would do if you no longer could pay your rent? Rents now are average across the United States are $2,500. That's average. Now, I know you're going to find low, and that's for a one bedroom. I know you're going to find lower, and you're probably going to find higher. That's an average. It is almost impossible for seniors to afford this any longer. So a lot of seniors are opting out for living in a van. I suggest a minivan because it is stealthy. The gas is good, but you do have a lot of room. I do have other episodes that show exactly what I have, but today I'm going to talk about the criteria of how old is too old for van life. It really isn't for everybody. And you might have a grandmother, you might have grandparents or parents or loved ones of aunts, uncles, and maybe neighbors, friends who are thinking about this that can no longer afford to live in a rental place. And actually, they're becoming more scarce right now. So one major criteria, let's go over some criteria of how old is too old. One is going to be the overall health of a person. What is your overall health? How many medications are you on? Are you on a CPAP? And are you going to have the proper equipment to keep that going? And we can talk about that later in another video, but these are issues that need to be dealt with. Can you get your medications while you're on the road? If you're on Medicare, yes, you can do that. If you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, I am not exactly sure if you have to be, because I don't have one. I was going to get one, and they were putting so many limitations on me that I said, I don't even start this. In January, don't start it. I don't care. I don't need silver sneakers. I can pay for that myself. I can pay for my own gyms. But, check on your Advantage plan of whether, if you have one, of whether you can go and travel and still get your medications. I know on Medicare you can. Let's see, what else? What else? Balance. Do you have good balance? And I want you to pay attention if this isn't you, but you have a loved one who's thinking about this. What is their balance? For seniors, that's a that is almost like number 2 after the overall health. What is their balance? Now, today I washed my windows. And I got out my stool because I'm in a minivan and I'm only 5'3", so I got to get up on a stool to get my windshield, only my windshield. But if I'm going to wash it by hand, that's what I need to do, to step up on that. Can I pull it out? Can I step up on it? Can I make sure, do I have a good balance that I'm not going to fall over? Because it would be easy to do that stool to just come flying out under you. And then you fall, you hit your head. Okay. Now, some of you like to go out and you want to boondock out I suggest if you are a senior, can you do that by yourself? Would you fall and have nobody around to come help you? You might have your furry friend with you, but what is your furry friend going to do for you? You could teach him, I guess, to go make sure that, to go get your phone, open the door of your van and go get your phone and bring it, in his mouth to you so you could call. But you know what I'm saying? I'm making light of it, but no, balance is a big issue. And in past videos, I have shown some balance exercises that you can start doing. And it's mainly for your calves. If your calves are starting to get so thin and like a pole, and there's not a lot of muscle down there, that's where you start losing muscle. And why do you start losing that as an older person, as a senior? Because you're sitting too much. You're not sitting, and sitting on the floor is a good thing because I have to get up. Yeah, sitting on the floor and is a good thing. I am in good shape. I'm 70 years old, and I do believe biologically, because there's a difference between chronological age and biological age. And I would say that my biological age is I'm going to say it's about 55. Because I stayed in good shape all my life. I've worked out, I ate well, things like that. So overall health and balance, that's a big deal. And your medications and what kind of equipment like CPAP that you need. I'm going to talk to the senior here. If you are unsure, like, could I do this? I don't know. Here's my suggestion. Find a friend that you can trust that will be honest with you, but also encouraging. You don't want a friend who doesn't want to lose you going off into the wild blue yonder traveling, and they might discourage you because they don't want to lose you. You need to ask a friend who you can trust that will be honest with you and not be selfish to hold you back. Okay? And ask them, what do you think? Ask them. Ask a family member, what do you think? But make sure that they're not going to be just thinking about themselves, that they're going to miss you too much. If you are in a bind and you know that coming up you can no longer pay your rent, or you no longer want to spend every cent that you have for your landlord. Now, here's another thing I want to talk about. If you are going to move into your van and you are a senior citizen or beyond, that doesn't mean, it sounds scary, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. But I'm going to tell you, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and live into the wild. You don't have to go boondocking all the time. You can do it maybe during the quartzsite days and go visit quartzsite, because that's a big gathering of all of the nomads. The van dwellers, they like to go to quartzsite and hang out for a couple weeks, make some connections, and enjoy what it has to offer, because it's fun out there. I do like quartzsite. But as far as boondocking, that's not my cup of tea. I don't want to be out into the wild. I'm a solo traveler now. I did have a traveling partner, but now I don't. And after 3 years, we parted ways. And so I'm solo now. That doesn't mean that I want to go out into the wild and live out there. For one, I don't especially like all the dust and the dirt, because I love a clean environment. And I know a lot of you do too. So, and a lot of you don't want to go out there by yourselves. These are different days going on right now. And it can be a little dangerous if you don't have your tribe with you. And a lot of people, what they're doing is they're gathering a tribe together. I'm sort of in another little tribe that I'm getting closer to. And I also am thinking about gathering my own personal tribe. And I have a couple of friends who are getting themselves ready, and I'm encouraging them, if they want to come, that I'm here. We can do this together, and we can support each other and look out for each other. So, but you know what? I like city life. I really do. I like city life. I like to be in the city where I have all the amenities. I have stores. I have restaurants. I got my gyms, because I love to work out. I got my gyms. And I've got car washes and gas stations, and I can go get water whenever I need to get water. I can get my food whenever I need to get food without having to stockpile it. I can just stop at the store, pick up what I need for a couple days. So I really do encourage you seniors out there, any age really, any age, to think about this. I mean, don't just jump into it, but think about it. But for the seniors, I want you to think about your health. Can you do this? I did have a friend at the second meetup I had, Minivan Lee meetup, and was in Quartzsite. And Brian was there. His name was Brian. He was in a wheelchair and he traveled in his van. He's a retired nurse and he has diabetes. And so he's had some issues with his limbs, as a lot of diabetics do. But he was there. And he loves living in his van. He has a bigger van, like an Econoline, but he's got it all rigged up. He has a van and he travels. Now, that might not be for everybody. Somebody had asked me, do you know anything about handicapped people who live in a van? Brian, I do know. And I know that a lot of seniors need the CPAP, or any age. And so what they do is they have like the power stations that they can keep that turned on, right? And then they have solar to keep their power banks powered up. But this is food for thought for you, you know? I mean, I can't tell you how many people I meet. A lot of older women have been forced into their vehicles. And there's a lot of different subjects coming up that I will be talking about in different avenues and different subjects, different issues of living in a van, living on the road. There's so many of us out here. And I'm going to give you tricks and I'm going to give you tips on van life. So I really do ask you to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and thank you for watching it all the way through. If you want to support me, I would suggest that you go to minivanlee.com. I get 100% of everything. Just click on the page, click on gifts, and I've got any number of amounts there that you can help support me. And I've got the book, How to Live in a Minivan, The Minivan Leeway. If you're really serious about this lifestyle, oh my gosh, you need to get that book. It's got list upon list upon list. So until next time, I'm Minivan Lee. And I live in my minivan, and I love this lifestyle. It's not rainbows and unicorns every minute of the day, but it's pretty darn cool. And I'm going to give you tips, and I'm going to give you tricks on how to live in style inside of your van. Okay? Deal? Thanks for watching it all the way through. I love you guys. Until tomorrow. Mwah. Bye.